What is up, you guys? This is the Fallout with a Fear, and today I'm gonna, travel across the freaking multiverse of, what ifs and decide to do a crossover. It's not too big, but it's big enough. It's gonna be what if Deku was in the freaking DBZ universe. I decided to do, let's see, just this. I'm gonna do this one for now. See who likes it, who doesn't. But it's basically going along the lines of Deku being a Saiyan, and there's gonna be other interesting stuff. But anyway, hopefully you guys are all okay. I'm gonna try to do this one, and then see if I can do another what if. Possibly, hopefully, it's gonna be what if Deku was a demon, and he's gonna be the same as that one dude from the Demon Slayer thing. So yeah. Now, a long time ago, a certain Saiyan decided to come across a certain planet, and decided that since he's gonna need to spread his seed, due to let's just say he found out something about the future, he decided to go and, procreate, or just create children. And other Saiyans decided to do the same thing too, if those who followed along Bardock's steps. And yes, you already know who it is, since I already just said the name. And there was this one woman from a weird planet, from that of a planet which is basically a dangerous yet peaceful place. It's full of big creatures, small creatures, no technology, it's pretty primitive, but one woman decided to accept Bardock's invitation of love. Yes, this will be the brother of Goku, and certain timelines and freaking crossovers and a lot of freaking maneuvering, and basically Izuku was born. And at a young age, he stayed with his mother's side until the day she died, which is basically at the age of 15. Now Izuku is a young man who has trained a lot with his mother, and also his great-grandfather, who has taught him the ways of his bloodline, which is, one, he doesn't know anything, but they are called Saiyans. Izuku, understanding that he is a Saiyan and a different kind of species, which it's gonna be a weird blood clan, but let's see, the Niagarans. Yeah, we'll say Niagarans right now. The Niagaran race, basically that of weird, it's a weird bloodline, but Izuku is technically a human. He's technically still human, or he has a humanoid face. Everything about him looks like a regular Saiyan's, and he just has a tail. And so does another Saiyan that decides to pick him up. After coordinates being sent for a while, Izuku is the first Saiyan to be picked up on a ship. It may be going fast, but still going. Now, Izuku has these rags on him. He basically has one of those Japanese swordsmen in a dojo has. Basically something like that. Or, wait a minute. The kendo fighters that use the sticks, those kind of pants. And he also has basically just a torn up t-shirts. Now, Izuku is looking at this guy after he says that this is the son of Bardock. After reading his power level, his power level not being too great, but you know, whatever. Izuku looks around and sees that this guy is weird, but he calls himself Beats. Now, Beats is a Saiyan that's a medical doctor who wasn't the strongest, but it's better than no one else. Now, Beats decides to say, "Hello, your name is Izuku." Now, there was going to be a different name for him, but for the sake of not having you guys confused, it is Izuku. Your name is Izuku, am I correct? And he says, "Yeah, that's the name I was given when I was born. My mom called me that." And this is when he says, "Well, your father, but whatever." And Izuku says, "So, who are you?" "Ah, my name is Beats. I am technically the caretaker of the ship, and one of the few surviving Saiyans to exist. Now, I'm going to have to pick you up and a couple of other people." So Izuku says, "Mom, I'm going to check what other planets there are." And this is when she says, "Oh boy, my boy is growing up." And the great-grandfather says, "Make sure you come back every now and then, so that way I can see how much you've grown." And the grandfather is big. When I mean big, he's twice the size of Lord Frost, or Chill. King Cold. Oh yeah, King Cold. He's twice the size of King Cold in his big form. So Izuku just says, "Alright, well, it's time for us to go then." Him first being hesitant, wondering about what all this technology can do, Beats has to inform him that where he comes from, there was a planet called Planet Vegeta. And there was people that served under the king, and basically after a couple of years, the tyrannical ruler known as Frieza decided to destroy Planet Vegeta. Izuku, feeling kind of indifferent about it, says, "So what do you want me to do?" This is when Beats says, "Are you mad? Lord Frieza is the one that destroyed your home planet." And Izuku says, "Well, my home planet's right there with the Niagarans." And this is when he says, "Oh, well, your father died due to an attack that happened." Izuku says, "Alright, well, I might as well, try to do something, but I don't know what I can do. I'm not pretty useful." And this is when he says, "Yeah, you do have a point right now. Your level is under Prince Vegeta's, but with enough training, you can at least be somewhat useful to him. I will try to help you out as much as I can." Now they go to another planet. 2 weeks later, and Izuku asked him, "Why are we technically rounding up all the Saiyans? I'm technically a half Saiyan, so would that mean that I'm not of any use to you guys?" And Beats says, "Well, on the contrary, Saiyans are strong, but they can become even better when they fuse their blood with somebody else's blood. Meaning that because two people can make a baby, your father, known as Bardock, decided to make a child. And due to that, you now have more potential than your father. And Izuku says, I see. I wonder, am I the only child that he has? And this is when the Beat says, no, you're not the only child. Technically, there's another one, and another one. One goes by the name of Raditz, and another one's known as Goku. We've heard through the scouters that there's a man named Goku, but his name is his true real name is Kakarot. Izuku says, well, why is his name Goku? And this is when Beats said, it could just be the fact that Raditz, not Raditz, the Saiyan decided to call himself Goku. He said he's gone through something, and I guess due to that, he changes his name. So, Izuku and Beats land onto a different planet, which this place looks weird. Everybody is kind of similar. They all have this thing where they explode other stuff as well. They're not primitive, but they do like destruction. And this is when they spend a couple of days, wandering the terrain until they see this village. And this village technically has a person there. And his name is Bakugo. Yes, like I said, I'm actually including some other people there. I'm including other people there as well. And this is when Izuku says, who is this guy? And Beats says, well, I don't know technically, but we are going to find out. And this is when he starts looking at the scouters and sees that, yes, indeed, this guy is who we're looking for. And Izuku says, are you sure we need him? He looks kind of insane. This is when the guy hears something, and this is when he basically just blitzed past Beats and Izuku, and it technically lands in front of them at high speeds with an explosion, and Izuku's like, oh, what the heck? What's happening here? He sees that this Bakugo is staring at him, saying, who are you? And what do you want? Izuku says, my name is Izuku. Well, technically, we're all gonna get picked up. When I say we, I mean, technically, us as the same age as the Saiyans. Bakugo says, what's a Saiyan? And this is when his mother, Mitsuki, says, hey, Bakugo. And Bakugo looks back and he says, what? And she basically explodes, she shoots out an explosion at him, and Bakugo is basically flying by. And this is when she sees Izuku and Beats and says, I'm sorry for my son's rudeness. We don't usually hurt other people or cause trouble. We know that you guys are different from us, so we hopefully we extend our hospitality somewhat. This is when Izuku says, no, don't worry about it. Ma'am, for some reason, this guy picked me up and says that we're Saiyans. And, well, I guess now we're going with him and seeing what he needs because our race has died off. And this is when Mitsuki says, so that's why he wanted to talk to me. But he was such a sweet guy. although he was a lot rude and he always kept eating too much. And this is when Bakugo says, I don't want to go. And Izuku says, oh, why don't we have like a little discussion right now? Why don't you want to go? And this is when Bakugo says, because I'm gonna be the new tribesman of this village. And with this, I'm gonna learn how to make myself shoot even bigger explosions. This is when Izuku looks at him and says, but hey, we need to actually try to find more other Saiyans or half Saiyans, or I'm not too understanding of this myself, but we need to find more of us. Bakugo says, you know what? If you beat me, I'll follow you. And Izuku says, beat me in what? And Izuku basically sees that Bakugo gets face-palmed, saying, if you beat me in a fight, we can go, and I will listen to you. And Izuku says, but why would I want to fight you? There's no point. Bakugo gets upset about this and says, oi, listen up here, you dang idiots. If you beat me in a fight, I'll go with you, but if you lose, I stay here and you work for me. These two start to get to the fighting, and this is when Mitsuki says, Izuku, are you sure you want to fight him? My son may be an idiot, but he is strong. And Izuku says, well, I'm strong too. Don't count me out just yet. And she says, okay. And basically, they hear 3, 2, 1, go. And these two are at it. Now, for a while, these two are actually getting on par with each other. And everybody sees this. Goku's brother is basically Izuku. So, as you may well understand, Izuku has this ability to adapt to a lot of situations, especially at a young age when he had to fight off against creatures. Now, it is actually safe to say that Izuku is technically stronger than Goku was at the age he was at the age of 15. He's technically while Goku's around 200 something or 400 in Dragon Ball Z when it started to go with the Saiyan Saga. Izuku's at 8,000, which is way higher than freaking I think Vegeta was in the beginning at 15. I could be wrong. I don't want to jinx it. But anyway, these two are going at it. But this is when Bakugo was saving up his strength to just shoot out a bunch of explosions at Izuku. Izuku actually starting to breathe heavily after feeling that blood's coming out of his body a bit. He has cuts and burns on him. And this is when Izuku's skin looks different. And I'm not saying after when the fight happened. This was before the fight. Bakugo may have explosions, but Izuku's skin is more tougher and durable. Not only that, it looks thicker. It looks like Izuku has fought before. But Bakugo doesn't see this, and Izuku just gets ready and starts running after him. And Izuku is on all fours, and this is when he starts using his feet, and Izuku just starts using his feet to kick around. And Bakugo is kind of dodging and making it to where he's on the losing side on this. Not knowing how Izuku fights makes him unpredictable. But what makes it more weirder is that Izuku uses his tail to grab onto Bakugo and just swirl him around and just slam him to the ground. Izuku grabs all the energy that he can muster and throws it on the ground, causing this huge explosion, basically hitting both Izuku and Bakugo and causing them to actually get on the ground with a lot of injuries on them. Beat says, well, that's how Saiyans usually are, these two fight. But, oh my goodness, Izuku needs to learn how to fight better. And Bakugo needs to learn how to use his ki blast. His ki blast on a minimum. And, well, Mitsuki's like, oh no, my baby! Oh no, Izuku! So, after a little bit of healing, and a lot of patience, and a lot of slapping too, these two decide to go on the ship, and Izuku says, but wait a minute, we're technically in a tie. And Bakugo says that, yeah, but screw being the chief. If I can have a rival that can make me stronger, then I'd rather have that. Besides, I don't want to be on the. I don't want to have a tie with you. And Izuku starts smiling and says, "That's exactly how I felt about being with you." And so, these two start heading out. Now, Izuku and Bakugo, their parents were usually told never to send their kids to look out the night. And Bakugo is technically, besides, well, Izuku was never shown the moon, but where Bakugo was at, there was technically 2 moons, and also more times to see the full moon. And because Mitsuki saw that Izuku turns into a freaking huge beast, they found out that this technically Bakugo was going to be worshipped as some sort of deity. But this was all coming to a crash until Beats told them everything, saying, "Oh no! That's what we as a species can do. Our race can do that. He's not a god." And this technically took a swan dive at freaking Bakugo's personality, or the way he acts. And, well, Izuku decides to chuckle at this a bit. But this is when Beat says, oh, and Izuku's never actually seen the full moon. That's what his parents at least said, that's what his mother said before. He's never turned into any of that, so I can't imagine to see what kind of power he will possess. Sorry about that. It's around like 6. I know it's 6 something, probably 7. So I know this. I'm gonna cut this part off and actually keep going tomorrow. But anyway, Izuku and Bakugo are waiting until the next couple of months until they actually meet a certain kind of pirate. And not just some regular pirate. This girl is one for the money. Now give me a moment here, people. Alright. So, Izuku is going to be... Well, Izuku and Bakugo now are going to be in this one in this one planet. And it's kind of the same if I was speaking in it in a way similar to the Tuffle planet. Not really. But Izuku sees that this beautiful place is there. And Izuku is happy that now there could possibly be another Saiyan, and it's also a girl too. But he doesn't see a lot of girls, so he doesn't know too much about them. He's kind of idiotic in a way. But he understands that there's these people that are rich, and their technology is kind of the same as the Saiyans, but theirs are more advanced. So, Izuku sees that there's these police officers also good Samaritans. And Izuku is all happy about that. And these two, Bakugo and Izuku, actually spent a couple of weeks there. Until basically something happens. See, Izuku and Bakugo decide to go get a drink. They were technically young in the Tuffle planet, although these two fancied more of just regular drinks, such as something with fruits or water, if that was the case. But this one big dude decided to drop by and basically says, "Alright, I'm a pirate of the Ura pirates, and I am going to be the one that that's taking all your catch today. So if any of you guys want to be a hero, just step right up and then you'll die." And Izuku and Bakugo aren't paying too much of attention on this. Bakugo saying, "Hey, there's some guy that's trying to freaking take our money." And Izuku looks at him and says, "But we're broke." And this is when Bakugo says, "Really? You don't know anything about currency?" And Izuku says, "Not really. I never got to pay anything in cash or with coins or anything like that. Even these weird card things that Beats told me to use if I need to buy something." And this is when he says, I don't know anything about that either, but I do know that we sell animal hides and, well, different things such as metal coins that are kind of rare. And then there's these shiny jewel things that are rocks. But my mom said these are jewels. I was gonna have one encrusted on my head. But I said, ugh, what kind of person would have like some kind of gemstone on the attached to their forehead? Might as well be an idiot and just say, "Oh, somebody just knocked this out of my head." Izuku says, "Your planet's kind of weird." And Bakugo says, "Hey, at least my planet isn't freaking full of cavemen." And Izuku starts laughing. And the guy starts looking at him, and, well, technically, the pirate starts looking at them. And Izuku just says, "Hey, Bakugo, which one of us do you wants to fight him?" Bakugo says, "Well, as much as I would let you have him, and as much as I would just like to pummel him, he's not worth our time." And Izuku says, "Alright, well, you have fun with that." And Bakugo just starts pointing his hand towards the guy, towards the pirate, and basically shoots out a ki blast, causing the man to actually be knocked down. And right now, I'm gonna end it off here, but I'm not gonna end it off here. Talk to you guys later. So anyway, you guys, Izuku and Bakugo basically beat the Ura pirate, and they did leave the guy did leave his hat, which was technically one of the pirates. Well, what is that word called? Not uniform, but you know what the pirate, if it's a pirate or not, due to the hat that they wear. The Ura pirates just wear a regular pirate hat, or, you know, the ones that Paul Revere, or just think of any British person, and then they have a hat that has a pirate, that has like a weird symbol on it. It's basically looks like a triangle with the pretty much two pink dots for eyes and a smiley face, basically showing that this hat looks kind of weird, but Bakugo doesn't seem to mind. And not only that, Bakugo says that he's actually just gonna go and explore. And Izuku is just left by himself, wondering what is he gonna do. Izuku does know how to fly a little bit, but he doesn't feel confident in his abilities. And, well, he's gonna now try to find some people. And this is... shit, lost my pen. But this is when, several minutes later, Izuku's outside where the market is at, and sees that there's a bunch of people that are weird, because some of them are not the same as what Izuku looks like, or not what the other human-like creatures are. Some of them have 8 legs, and even some have weird wings on their back. Izuku's wondering to himself, are these like monsters he can eat? And this is when he sees that some of them can even talk. A majority of them can talk. It's just the last few that don't talk and just grumble and grunt. Izuku is looking at this strange planet, thinking to himself that maybe it's time for him to explore more, because Izuku and Bakugo live in the same kind of primitive state, although Bakugo kind of uses explosions to make them happy and all. Izuku is more adventurous, and due to the lack of technology, he's decided to try it out. He likes it, actually, thinking that it's kind of cool, seeing that there's even weird things to protect the human body from, the humanoid body from. And Izuku wants to keep one of them, which is basically an arm guard. But this is when the guy says, if you can pay this much, then you can have it. Izuku says, well, wait, I don't have what you're looking for. And the guy says, you don't? So why are you trying to, trying to buy this? And Izuku says, what is buying? And the shop owner, any shop owner would just get upset and just say, if you don't have any money, then scram. This guy says that, well, if you work and do some stuff for people, then you can pretty much get some items and stuff. Or you can actually get, currency, which is known as money. And Izuku is thinking to himself, this is actually pretty nice. Where Izuku's from, you had to pretty much kill a boar or some kind of creature that could kill you in order to get some stuff. And Izuku has used his fist, but he's also used spears and arrows. And not only that, big clubs, and even just used a tree at one point. Izuku didn't care, because where he's from, it's really primitive. So to see something so minuscule used in such a convenient way like that, Izuku's kind of on board on this, wondering what should he get his mom, and for that matter, what should he show the tribe. He may actually just bring them all into a different planet, and not only that, they could possibly be a benefit for the greater good. And this would all be so well, but as things go by, the Uru Pirates, one of the guys that was there told Uraraka that these 2 guys actually beat up on him, and he was minding his quote-unquote own business when they just savagely beat him. Uraraka, on the other hand, didn't believe too much on this, but to think that somebody who's not a weakling could lose so easily to the point where they came back crying, it gets her to think, what is going on? So she decides to tell the gang that she's gonna actually go and check what's happening. And Izuku is told about the Uru Pirates a little bit more, saying that they're kind of fierce, but they're not all bad. Izuku saying, what does he mean? And he finds out that the Uru Pirates just steal from the rich, but they kind of help out the community. There's a band of actual good heroes that try to fight the Uru Pirates, although they technically do commit crimes as well. I mean, they're not all good. A lot of them are bad, but some of them do good things for others. And Izuku says, so what is a pirate? And the guy says, oh, so you really aren't from here. Say, did you actually travel from a different planet? And Izuku says, well, I came from a different place, and it's not here. And this is when the guy says, ah, I see. You're actually pretty primitive, aren't you? Looking at your clothes. Izuku looks at his clothes and says, what, they fit? And the guy says, alright, well, I need your help. And this is when Izuku says, alright, NFC time? Okay, whatever. Anyway, so this is when Izuku says, you have a job for me or something like that? And the guy says, there we go. At least you know that much. And Izuku's kind of dumbfounded, but he says, anyway. I need your help. You see, those some of the Ura pirates are actually causing big trouble in the city, and Izuku needs to help out. If he does this, he'll get some of these armored bracers. Basically, they're just used for combat and just defending yourself. They're just a small piece of armor, but they are very durable to the point where it makes more of clothing. It makes more of like clothing, and technically, if it's ever damaged, it can repair over time. And Izuku says, "What do you mean?" And the guy says, "Well, to put it at such, you gotta actually try to, if you get this tears or breaks or gets burnt, as long as there's a good, a nice portion of it that hasn't been broken, you just put it in water for a couple of days and it'll just, poof, be back to normal. It kind of grows on a cellular level, but it's not meant to be used for anything else besides clothing. It could be used to, kill, since it is technically a weapon." And Izuku is saying, "Can I just wear it?" And the guy says, "You're innocent. You seem innocent enough. You know what? If you at least can beat some of them and get them away from us so we can do our business, I'll give you that and some other stuff too. Looking at you, you're such a poor fella." And Izuku just looks at him with a smile and says, "I got you." And this is when he says, "Oh crap, I forgot what the hat looks like." While that's happening, Bakugo sees that there's someone running towards him at a very fast pace. This guy actually jumps up and spins a couple of times, actually kicking Bakugo in the face. Bakugo was actually dumbfounded that this attack even hurt him. But Izuku sees that this guy is wearing mostly armor. It's more made out of metal. And Izuku says, Bakugo says, "Hey, what's the big idea?" And this is when the guy says, "Now, you Ura pirate, you are gonna face me. For you have caused enough trouble in this planet." And this is when Bakugo says, "What are you talking about? I ain't no Ura, whatever." And this is when the masked man says, "Oh, so you're not a pirate, eh? So why are you wearing the Ura hat? Listen here, sir. The Ura something hat doesn't belong to me. I took it." And this is when Ida says, well, you already know it would have been Ida. I kind of screwed that up. Anyway, this is when Ida says, "Ha! As long as criminals steal from others doesn't bother me, but the fact that you still stole from a pirate means that you're not any good yourself." And Bakugo says, "Hey, what are you talking about? All I did was beat him up and he left his hat." And this is when Ida says, "Oh, so you're evil and you're just admitting it. And now you're just trying to cover up your tracks so you can not fear justice. Well, you are mistaken." And this is when Ida just looks at Bakugo, and Bakugo just starts shooting ki blasts towards him. And this is when Ida just gets serious and basically just starts blitzing towards Bakugo, and actually lands a punch on Bakugo's chest, causing Bakugo to start flying and hitting a small boulder. But this is when Ida says, "Ha! You see, in the very end, you cannot overcome justice." And this is when a boulder, or a chunk of the boulder, basically hits Bakugo square in the face, with Bakugo actually right there, landing the punch, or basically just slamming the boulder onto Ida, and breaking a lot of the armor. And this is when Bakugo says, "To hell with you and your freaking armor. I don't give a damn who you are. You want to fight me? Let's fight." And this is when Ida says, "Very well. Let us come forth." And this is when the battle between these two commence. Now, Izuku is now actually kind of happy that he has his metal bracers, or not metal, but basically his arm guards. Sorry about that. My throat's kind of hurting, but Izuku looks at his arm guards, and they're actually it's like a dark reddish color, and it looks so cool though. It looks like it actually fits him. Now, Izuku is just starting to run, and he sees that there's actually a kid that needs help. And Izuku is trying to help him out, and this is when Uraraka sees him and says, "Hey, is something wrong with the kid?" And Izuku says, "Oh, yeah, I have to, he's actually lost. If you can actually help me, that would be wonderful." And Izuku sees that she has a scar on her face, basically one that looks a little more deeper than it should. And Uraraka says, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." And Izuku says, "Oh no, don't worry about it. It's understandable. I don't know how you got it, but it doesn't affect me too much." And Izuku just shows all of his scars and says, "Look, I have a lot on me." And this is when the kid that they're supposed to help out is terrified and actually starts crying for his mother. Now Izuku is wondering why is the kid crying, and basically Uraraka says, "Sir, I don't think you're supposed to show that to a child. Scars are very scary to kids." And Izuku says, "Well, I had this as a kid." And she says, "Oh, well, I guess that it can't be helped then. But anyway, we gotta help out this kid." And Izuku says, "Alright." So they spend a good 20 minutes actually finding the mother, and this is when Izuku finds her and says, "Hey, is this your kid?" Which he has done to every single person in a 3-mile radius, basically making a full circle until he gets down to one of them. And this is when Izuku actually is thanked by Uraraka, and Izuku sees that Uraraka's actually really nice, but Izuku didn't get her name. And this is when Izuku says, "What is your name?" And this is when Uraraka says, "I'm Uraraka." And he says, "Oh, alright. That's actually a pretty nice name." And she says, "Thank you, my mother gave it to me." And he says, "Alright, well, I gotta fight some people that are very bad." And she says, "Oh, How bad are they? I don't know, but they've been doing bad things, and I gotta help them out. The old man at this one store told me that if I beat them up some more, then basically I can have some more nifty stuff. And she says, "Oh, so do you have a name or something, or some kind of like thing to know them by? And how many are there, or something like that?" And Izuku says, "Oh, they're called the let's see, they're the sorry, oh, wait a minute, it's called the Uru Pirates." And this is when Ochako, with a smile, basically starts frowning a bit, saying, "Oh, you have to beat them up, right?" And Izuku says, "Yeah, they're doing bad things to the people." And this is when she says, "Well, I'm sorry about that, Izuku, but I can't help you with that." And Izuku says, "Ah, it's alright. If I can beat them up, then I can get some more stuff." And this is when she says, "So that's more of a mercenary job, which makes you a mercenary, which means you've been sent to kill me." And this is when Izuku just gets blasted in the face with Uraraka's swing of a well, basically he punches her with the most brutalized punch I ever saw. I don't know how to say it in a way that makes it cooler, but he punched him hard. And Izuku is just basically tumbling down, and actually he's on the ground saying, "Ow, that really hurts." And Izuku was just trying to rub his face and all, and she says, "Izuku, I know that you're trying to find them. I am part of the Ura Pirates." And Izuku says, "Oh, but why?" And she says, "Well, my name's Ochako, but my last name is Uraraka." And this is when Izuku remembers that Beats told him that there was a girl named Uraraka is gonna be at that planet, and she's a part of the Ura Pirates. And Izuku just puts two and two together and says, "Oh, wait a minute, we're supposed to recruit you." And she says, "Nice try, but I have to ask you to leave me alone. If you don't, then I will fight you." And Izuku looks at her and says, "Look, we don't have to fight. I'm just trying to find where you stayed at, so that way I can actually ask you to join me." And this is when Uraraka says, "Yeah, but somebody tried that on me once. That didn't work too well." And this is when she just starts charging at Izuku, and Izuku gets punched. But this is when Izuku just starts punching her back. And these two are actually just fighting back and forth. And this is when Izuku and her just start going at it. Now, Uraraka actually has an upper hand, with basically her getting a power scale. We're giving power scales. Bakugo and Izuku are pretty much tied in with now a good 10,000 on a power level scale. But Izuku and not Izuku, Uraraka is basically is more of a 40 power level scale, and Ida is holding back his powers because he's actually as strong too, and there's a good reason. But before that, Izuku and Bakugo actually start realizing that these two are not as weak as they thought at first. And Izuku has to get ready for a very tough battle, because now he's facing somebody, and Bakugo is also facing somebody that are both stronger, well, that is stronger than they even realized. So, a while back, these two thought that they were basically tied and they were the strongest in their planet. But now they realize that in different planets, there's even more dangerous beasts out there. And these two, Uraraka and Izuku, start fighting, with Izuku actually getting pummeled more and more and more. Izuku actually not able to handle a lot of the fighting that Uraraka is dishing out. And Bakugo's not faring any better, because even without his armor, Ida's actually just punching him straight up and down. And Izuku is on the ground trying to use any of his tactics. And this is when Uraraka says, why don't you blast me or something like that, instead of just punching me. And Izuku, I'll tell you this right now, he actually doesn't know how to do it. During the fight with Bakugo and Ida, any blast that Izuku did was just something that he learned on the spot after seeing how Bakugo did it. So Izuku doesn't know how to do it. It's kind of like his main thing is just melee combat. So Izuku and Uraraka are just going at it, but Izuku's still losing. And this is when Uraraka just starts blitzing Izuku, and Izuku is basically on the ground, breathing heavily. And Izuku, he looks at Uraraka, and he smiles. And Uraraka doesn't understand why, but the reason is that, as Beats remembered, the first time he fought with Bakugo and started gaining a lot of damage, Izuku felt this happiness. You see, Izuku's planet has different alien species. While combat is their thing, the pain is kind of their affinity. It kind of powers them on. It's kind of like a Saiyan thing, but it's more of the Niagaran culture, where pain is kind of boosting them, kind of powering them up as they go along. And it shows, while Uraraka is gaining some power, going from 40,000 to at least 42, Izuku went from 10k to actually 15k. Meaning Uraraka noticed that he's getting slightly stronger. But Bakugo's not a slouch either. With every hit, Bakugo is fueling his rage and pride with that same energy, not giving up. These two are kind of holding on their own just by pushing through. And Uraraka and Ida now see this, that these two are not people from here, but there's something far more fascinating and scary at the same time. Now, while these two are fighting, they actually start doing a crossover where Bakugo and Izuku actually see each other. And this is when Izuku says, "Oh, hey!" And Bakugo says, "Ah, I didn't think I'd see you again for a while, but what's up?" And Izuku starts looking at him with a smile and says, "Well, I'm kind of losing, but I'm starting to understand more and more as I fight." Bakugo, looking at him, says, "You too, huh? Well, as far as I know, this guy is weird. He's very quick on his feet." And Izuku says, "Well, mine's not any weaker, because she keeps she's almost like, how do I say it, brutal when it comes to her fighting style." And Izuku is starting to breathe more easily, and so is Bakugo. Until Uraraka sees Ida, and Ida sees Uraraka and says, "Oh, I see. You met him." And Izuku says, wait, what's going on? Uraraka and Ida start going at it themselves, seeing that these two are basically fighting each other. And Izuku is saying, what's going on here? And this is when Izuku is seeing that, well, Bakugo and Ida's fight and Izuku and Uraraka's fight were different. Because, one, these two were going at it, and it was kind of like it wasn't going anywhere. But with these two, it felt like a storm was brewing, as they see the true power of Uraraka and Ida going at it. Because, one, here's how it went. While Uraraka was born into a life of being piracy and, pirate stuff, Ida was the opposite. Being born and raised to be a hero and destroy anybody. Justice was a law that nobody would basically beat. And these two fought each other ever since. Now, with that, Izuku and Bakugo say that these two are going at it, and it's kind of frightening. And Izuku says, yeah, but I want to see more. Bakugo says, but we better clear a way because these two are going to go at it for a while. Until they see something change. This is when Uraraka basically shoot out a ball. And Ida says, you think you're gonna beat me with that? I won't let you. And Uraraka starts changing into Ozaru state. Ida says, well, I have no choice then, huh? And he basically sees the moon and sees that he's turning to the Ozaru too. Bakugo has to look away, say that I can't just turn into that without becoming primitive. And these two are going at it now, as both of the Uzarus fight each other. Shockwaves can be heard around the country, heck, possibly around the world. And while this is going on, Izuku has to start using his abilities more often, trying to basically dodge, weave, even climb up the arm of Ida. And Ida actually just slaps Izuku so hard, he looks like a, what is that? He looks like a piece of rice when you flick at it, or a bottle cap when you flick at it, just like going, basically slamming onto the ground. And Bakugo says, damn it, these freaking gorillas. He starts getting mad and just says, screw it, why don't I start fighting too? And just starts shooting ki blast out of his hands, and just says, heavy explosion. And while this is happening, Izuku sees that Bakugo's kind of defending him, and well, they're technically seeing Bakugo shoot as much power as he can, but if you guys remember, it's a ×10 when they turn into their great apes. So basically, not Izuku, Ida and Uraraka at 40 power level. Let's see, 40 times 10, that's 400. 400,000. And Bakugo is actually shocked that anything that he just did was for naught. And this is when Ida actually is about to step on Bakugo, and Ida was saw this for a second and got so mad he basically just charged in, grabbing the foot of Ida. And this is when Izuku just starts flaring his energy and just sees that well, not Ida, but Bakugo sees that Izuku is just holding on for dear life and holding on to Ida's, well, grade 8 foot. And what everybody is shocked is that Izuku just pushed him with all of his might and actually made Ida land on himself. Uraraka was just shocked on what Izuku just did, but just shot a blast out of her mouth and just basically got hit by it. But while this was happening, Ida actually got back and actually just started wailing on freaking Uraraka while she wasn't looking. And basically, while this is happening, Uraraka started becoming weaker and weaker with the punch, and Izuku sees this and just realized that Uraraka wasn't such a bad person, and technically he needs her for whatever beats, for whatever the plan needs her for actually. So Izuku just starts pushing himself up, and Izuku is telling Bakugo to start turning into his grade 8 form. And Bakugo says, but I'm still gonna be weak. As much as I can, I'm not gonna be strong enough to handle it. And this is when Izuku just says, hey, it doesn't matter. As long as we can protect the others, it does, and actually get Uraraka and Ida to be in our team, we have to use everything we got. and wait. Bakugo! Okay, there we go. Bakugo reluctantly says, okay. But don't blame me if we die. And Izuku says, I kinda blame you. And this is when Bakugo just says, ah, damn it. And basically turns into his grade 8 form. Well, because he has no way of actually, doing anything by himself, he can't control it and basically goes on a rampage, seeing Ida's tail beast, grade 8 form, and actually punches Bakugo. But Bakugo grabs onto his hand, was about to fall, and just basically pulls Ida so fast, well, as fast as he can technically go, and basically sucker punches Ida in the face, causing grade 8 form Ida to get, to be very shocked. And while this is happening, Izuku uses his flight mode, or at least the best that he can do, and just shoot himself up flying at top speed, going so fast that pretty much almost hit the atmosphere itself. And this is when Izuku just shoots as much energy as he can out of his feet to start flying downwards faster and faster and faster until Ida sees what Bakugo did and was just playing distraction, but he didn't think he was going to be a distraction for long enough. Now, Ida doesn't see this coming, but Izuku just starts, well, wait, what's he gonna do? Okay, yeah. So Ida basically doesn't see what Izuku's gonna do, and Izuku just headbutts the back of Ida's gorilla neck, and Ida is basically shocked and is on the ground trying to get back up, but he can't. Basically, he's going to sleep, saying, this kid he's not a bad guy, but he isn't very smart, is he? And this is when Izuku is on the ground saying, "Oh, oh no, I gotta deal with Bakugo." And it says, "Hey, Bakugo, we won!" And this is when Bakugo just almost steps on Izuku and says, he can't control it, can he?" And this is when Bakugo was about to shoot flames at him, or not. He could technically shoot flames. I remember that in the anime, the Great Apes did that. But for the sake of, you know, the DBZ universe, he just shoots out a beam cannon. But Uraraka steps in, shooting her beam cannon at Bakugo's face, causing Bakugo to become blinded, and Uraraka just jumps on him, wailing on Bakugo. And this is when Izuku just says, "Hey, Uraraka, if you can hear me, I'm telling you right now, stop what you're doing and just join me." Uraraka looks at him, and she's about to step on Izuku, and this is when Beats grabs her. Actually grabs her and says, "Izuku, what are you waiting for? Do what you did earlier and grab onto, basically hit her." And this is when he says, "Beats? But how?" And this is when Beats says, "No time to explain. Just do it now." And Izuku just starts charging up as fast as he can. The fastest that he can going up. And instead of using his head, because that hurts, Izuku just starts doing a weird spin. And just starts spinning around a lot. To the point where he's just thinking to himself, this is making me feel dizzy. And when he's done with his spinning, he just lands a swift kick onto the neck of Uraraka. And this is when Beats just turns back into his regular form, and Izuku says, "I never knew you could turn into a monkey too." And Beats says, "You never turned into a monkey, did you?" And Izuku says, "No, not really. I don't think I ever did." Well, I don't know too much, actually. And Bakugo basically is knocked out, so is Ida and Uraraka. And basically that's it for now. And I'll tell you this right now. The story of Uraraka and Ida. These two lived an opposite life, which we have discovered. But the thing is that Uraraka just wanted to be left alone afterwards. The reason why she has her scar is because there was a cynical man who basically shot a beam at her, causing her to almost go blind, but with the help of some people, she decided to just start robbing the rich. And if she did that, then a bunch of kids would be eating now. A lot of them could have food, and they wouldn't have to be, well, they wouldn't be, you know, sad. They wouldn't have to get into too much trouble. In the end, Uraraka just wanted to basically bring peace, but she did it in a way where she's never gonna actually achieve it. Izuku kind of shocked her when he did that. When he basically was helping people. She doesn't know what to do. And Ida basically just wanted to help people out, but he did it in a way where he became kind of a bad person. People didn't want him because he just kept being too forceful with his rules. So, yeah. these two lived horrible lives in a way because the bad guys just kind of corrupted their sense of justice to where Uraraka became the hero and the villain. Well, she became a villain who wanted to be a hero, and Ida became a hero who became kind of corrupted. Well, who did become corrupted. So hopefully you guys like this one. This is my first time. This is gonna be the. Well, I know you guys are gonna want a part 2, so I will think about it. We will cover the whole part of getting what's his name? A certain redhead, and after that, it's off to meet Goku, and technically, you know, Prince Vegeta, since that's what they were actually there for. But anyway, like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout. What if you're here? Bye.